I have been modeling for like, I'm gonna say 4 years now. I can't lie, last year there was not a lot happening, but still, regardless, I have done modeling. So I know a few bits and pieces about what they don't tell you until you're already in it. And I have compiled a list on my notes app of things that I didn't know before becoming a model. So the biggest cost that you'll ever have is mostly travel. When I look at my bank statements, I saw like when I was actively doing a lot of modeling in London, I don't live in London, so I was racking up in train costs and it was entering the hundreds without like going every day, every week. That was like sparsed out. So imagine how it would be if it was like every day. Probably still cheaper than actually living in London, but you gotta really consider like travel costs if you're not living in the city. Sometimes shoots are lucky and they give you money for the travel as well, and those are amazing. Love those people. Mwah. But most of the time, a shoot in London, they kind of expect you to already be in London and they don't really cover costs for that. But if it's something where they like travel you out, they're mostly going to cover the cost. For more lower budget shoots, you have to be your own stylist, makeup artist, hairstylist, as well as a model. Literally the majority of my shoots, I've done my own makeup, I've brought my own clothes, and it's usually just like, or even it's like been in the street, like it's not even in a studio. It's more likely to happen when you are first starting out and you have your clothes, you know yourself best, so you style yourself and all that stuff. But when it's a big shoot, then it's kind of like if they expect a lot out of you with makeup and such, and you're not the makeup artist or anything, then it's a bit sticky. You definitely have to kind of teach yourself along the way as well. You know, I'm not a makeup artist, but if you tell me to do it, then I'll do my best, you know? So websites where you generally find model gigs tend to be subscription services, like most things nowadays, unfortunately. There were 3 different ones I used the most. Some were better than others. Honestly, like not a whole lot of shoots really happened through there. Like it helped me get connections with people, but perhaps I actually connected more with people through Instagram, if anything. I mean, Facebook groups and like joining WhatsApp groups and stuff is free. You do get a lot of like those spammy ads and a lot of fake stuff as well if it's not been checked and approved. But I guess that can happen also on these sites as well. You're paying quite a bit of money per month or maybe per year, and maybe not getting a whole lot of gigs out of it. You can get really lucky sometimes though. Like I was in a music video, admittedly, it never got published, but I was paid quite well for it and it was a really cool experience actually. So anything can happen really. One of these, for example, is called Purple Pour. It's used quite a lot by models and you can use it for free. It feels way more targeted to photographers who do a lot of nudist shoots. That ain't for me, personally. So definitely check the kind of website you're joining. A lot of the time I see in videos of models getting scouted in the streets and stuff like that, or I've heard from friends, oh, like their friend got scouted in the street and like worked for Vogue and everything. Now that, in my head I was like, oh my god, hopefully that could happen to me someday. That would be so cool. So I like dress up stylish going into London, like strutting everywhere. Realistically, I feel unless you're like notably tall, have like a look about you, you're not really gonna get scouted as easily. I am not very tall. I'm gonna blend into a crowd. Also, like appearance-wise, I don't look very distinct either. Some people are fortunate enough to just be seen and then the potential is seen in them and then they get like put into a lot of things. So it really varies per person, but don't heavily rely on getting scouted because it's not a guarantee. Runway modeling feels super cool and when you do it, you feel like a baddie, but they generally pay the worst out of every kind of modeling out there. Naturally, if it's a famous person or someone who's like Nepo baby or whatever, they're more likely gonna get paid in the thousands. And if you're not very known, you're not even gonna reach the hundreds, babe, or even get anything at all. They generally pay for exposure. As much as it's a very bougie looking type of modeling, because you're just kind of strutting your stuff, it kind of pays the worst out of it. So it's good to dip into different areas of modeling and not heavily rely on runway unless you're very in demand for it, then it might work out for you. But it's just a heads up, you know? People will always kind of want your services for free. And that is fine, certainly to begin with if you're an amateur in modeling, and maybe there's an amateur photographer looking to improve their portfolio and stuff, that's completely fine. Doing like TFPs is what I did heavily like when I started off, because I wanted to build up a portfolio, improve my skills, like see how I was posing and stuff and see what I could do better. But nowadays I was starting to get booked for hair jobs by actual like proper hair salons, and they were paying good amount of money. And so I'm like, okay, so I do have some kind of value then. These people want me and are happy to pay this amount for me, so maybe there is a demand for my modeling skills, I suppose. So when I see people still messaging me being like, hey, like let's collaborate on something, and it's like, I know it's like a small project type thing, or helping startup fashion designers, as much as I really want to, you know, do modeling and be a part of it, part of me is like, but I've done this for people who've like paid a good amount and they're established people, so clearly I can make it with established businesses. People wanting me for free, it doesn't feel like fair. Like it sounds so like beggy. I don't know how to put it, but I know where I started off, and I completely get it from that perspective, but I'm not at that point anymore, and I feel like I should want to be a part of more professional, that's what I mean. Yeah, like a professional booked job, rather than kind of helping out as a favor, things like that, you know? I just wish people were more willing to pay models, but that's a whole other conversation. Rejection is like the main thing you're gonna face in modeling. Like you can apply to so many things and perhaps get one. It really depends, but rejection is a heavy thing in this industry, so you've got to really be kind of stone-hearted in that sense of, you know, this is going to happen, don't take it personally. Maybe they didn't see you suited for their brand, but maybe you suit for someone else's brand look. Never take it personally, because that will hold you back in feeling like, oh, well, no one's ever going to want me. Not true, because other people see the vision and they like it. I will say it is annoying. Originally, I traveled like almost a 2-hour journey to go to an in-person casting just to not hear back from them. That's not even the worst part. It's when you do videotapes where you kind of act out like you got a beverage in your hand and you're like, this is the drink for me. You know, you make a whole video and edit it together and send it to them and then never hear back. Anyway, being in a big agency doesn't guarantee immediate success. Oftentimes I can go months without jobs coming out, or there are jobs coming out and you apply for them and then you don't get the job. It's very gambly, you know? There's different periods of times where like people need models for like a campaign or things like that. Fluctuations is what I'm trying to say. Even that's not guaranteed when the job comes out, because maybe the job that wants you might not accept you. It just happens. It's just kind of something to expect. As much as you could be kind of in a massive flashy agency, you're not gonna always get consistent jobs, like you're not going to get a paycheck every day type of thing. It helps being in different agencies. I think smaller ones do prioritize their models much more. They keep only a small quantity of people, so it's like their main focus, but when it's a massive one, there's so many of you kind of need to make yourself stand out more to increase the chances of you getting booked for something. You can be at model shoots for a ridiculous amount of hours. I think typically a good shoot amount of time would be 2 to 3 hours max, because any more than that, it low-key does get exhausting. You may have not eaten, you might have not been drinking. Any shoots where it's been a long one, it's been a really good shoot, a lot of amazing pictures. However, you are like genuinely exhausted mentally and you feel like you've run out of poses. Sometimes shoots go over the intended time. It can be long and drags, and you just gotta take some breaks. Make sure to drink and have snacks with you. There's a lot of those magazines that reach out to models that are like, oh, like send your work to us, we really want to publish you and such. Or they just have like listings where you can submit to them and they say if they accept you or not. You're not really published officially if you do end up in them. First of all, they don't sell it in stores or anything. You can't tell your mum, oh, I'm front cover of this magazine, and then she goes to get it in Tesco. Like, it won't be there. Like, you can only access it online. And when you access it online, you have to pay over 40 quid, which is insane, I feel, for a magazine. They only have it digitally. Like, if you want to have it in print, you have to pay to specifically have them send it to you in print. And it only contains other shoots that other people have done and such. It's not like an official magazine thing, because it's not really real. I have been in a lot of those, and the first time I was in one of them, I was like, oh my god, I'm in like a magazine. But then when you realize, you're just like soul crushed. Like, I think I've only been in 3 magazines that felt authentic. They were actually sold in person. It's a nice kind of memorabilia, but do not buy all of them if you end up in magazines. Networking events are your best friend. Show yourself in person in these creative events. That will get you more people knowing who you are. Just seeing your style or personality can make someone want to work with you, and even message them directly to remind them of this. Keep yourself known, go to these events. You might see these people reoccurring at different events you go to, so then it feels like good company is around you. Meet really cool people as well, so you gotta keep doing that. Oh yeah, one last thing. I didn't write this one down, but I will include it as like a final thing. Beware of certain agencies. In the modeling world, there are a lot of those scammy agencies, like actual scams. Weirdly enough, like I see them advertised on like YouTube ads or on Snapchat as an ad. So they are around, and clearly these sites don't regulate what kind of ads they are putting out there, but these websites, they're not an agency as they claim, but they help you get connected with agencies, and you have to pay them handsomely for a shitty portfolio. These other agencies that they have connections with are also scams that you have to pay for and never get jobs. So please be aware of those, because they can take lots of money from you. You end up with like poor quality stuff at the end of it. They go out for people who are desperate or like really keen to model, and things just like go down. So you gotta really be careful about those things. Yeah, I think that's everything that I mentioned in the list. Please let me know your model stories or anything that you didn't know until you joined modeling that it's worth people knowing about. These were from my own experiences. I hope you enjoyed the video though. Peace. Mwah!